Hey guys, Josh here, and I played 1 month of Ninano Dream Ranch. This is a new life simulation game where you run a ranch, evolve your animals, upgrade the village, participate in festivals, make friends, and possibly more, we will find out. This video is sponsored by Ninano Dream Ranch, and the game is 20% off from November 27th to December 4th for the Steam Autumn Sale, so if you're interested in it, check it out using the link in the description. The developers also have a Discord that you can join to see announcements, to report bugs, provide feedback, and all of that. So the link to their server is in the description as well. But now, let's see what Ninano Dream Ranch is all about. I launched the game and right away I'm greeted by this opening animation. Do you find yourself commuting at sunrise, working day in and day out, not eating well until the sun goes down? Do you get home all spent when everyone else is already resting? Do you find yourself repeating the same routine? Take a deep breath and picture vast green meadows, cool fresh air, spending time with animals. Our village ranch is in need of management. It's easier than it sounds. Work when you can, sleep when you want. Freely, pleasantly, smiling wide, joyously, energetically, dynamically, this life awaits you. In our village, we have a word for such a life: Ninano Dream Ranch. So if you were wondering about the meaning of Ninano, that's what it means. But now let's explore this dream by starting a new game. I can choose between 3 difficulty settings: fast, manageable, or laid back, and it's a difficult choice. I'm leaning towards fast, recommended to people who want to get to the ending quickly, as that would let me achieve a lot in 1 month, but it also makes animals immune to death, and I don't want that, I want a challenge. The laid back mode, on the other hand, has storms and blizzards, which sounds exciting and not very laid back, let's be honest, but the progression would be much slower. I wish I could mix and match elements from these 2 modes because I want it to be fast but challenging. I cannot do that, so I opt for the manageable difficulty, which has no storms, but where my animals can die and everything should be pretty well balanced. I then make my character. There is a good amount of skin colors, hairstyles to pick from, a few different faces. I pick colors from my clothes, then my gender, my birthday. I named my ranch Maple. I should have named it Maple Ranch because now everybody will just call it Maple. And I named the village Ninano, which, like we learned earlier, means work when you can, sleep when you want. Freely, pleasantly, smiling wide, joyously, energetically, dynamically. I then wake up in my house where I find a normal bag filled with a bucket, a scythe, some animal feed, and food for myself. I also have a smartphone that serves as the game menu. There are lots of apps on it, but the most important one for now is the Quest app. I receive 5 apples just for moving into Ninano, and my first real quest is to give feed and water to my chicks. I have 2 chicks waiting for me outside. I put feed in their trough and I use my bucket to fill up their water container. I receive a brush as a reward and I brush my chicks so that they like me a little bit more. The next quest that pops up is asking me to raise every kind of animal, so let's see how many animals there are. I go to the animal store and the shopkeeper, Kaya, greets me by saying, "Welcome Josh, I was waiting for my cutesy little ranch owner to arrive." It feels a bit unsettling being called that by a stranger, but the cutesy little shopkeeper is selling chickens, cows, pigs, sheep, and honeybees. The currency in Ninano is called jelly. I have 4,000 jelly right now. Bees are 1,200, so I buy 1 beehive and place it on my farm. There are many other animals to unlock, however, like duck, goose, goat, horse, turkey, and more. So I think it's safe to say I won't be able to complete that quest to raise every kind of animal, at least not in this first month. I will try to at least get the duck, but for that I will need 4 different types of eggs, and I don't know how to get all of these yet. I buy some food for the bees and a honey dipper to harvest their honey. I then go out and explore the town a bit. I quickly meet some of the romanceable characters such as Kobe. He's a very grape guy who literally only talks about grapes, tells me how he finds it hard to talk with anyone who is not also talking about grapes, and that I should just ignore him if he starts acting weird. He then mentions grapes bouncing around in his closet, and believe it or not, but he's probably the most normal person in this town. Next, I stumble upon this girl with fox ears, and her name is Elena. She asks me if we've met before. She seems to remember me and says that I picked up her hair tie once. I tell her it wasn't me, and she responds that she was just pretending and trying to recreate a scene from this comic she read where 2 people bumped into each other. She goes on to tell me how she used to be a webcomic artist and that next time she's gonna bump into me with a piece of bread in her mouth. So basically, she's this jobless girl whose whole life revolves around pretending to be a manga character. I receive some coins and rice balls as quest rewards for having to go through these interactions, and then I meet Haru, the werewolf who can't turn into a wolf. So there's certainly a fascinating cast of characters here, and it does feel like all of this is just a very weird dream. I explore a bit more and find the darkest mine, not any mine, the darkest mine, and a quest is asking me to get to the 20th floor. I don't have a pickaxe though, so I will have to come back later. For now, let's go see the carpenter, Woody. He tells me he's a ninja, but that the only ninja skill he knows is teleportation. I can ask him to expand my house or to add structures to my ranch, like these statues that increase the quality of my animal products. Not now though, as I'm almost running out of money already. To make money, it's all done with this guy, Pastis, who runs the wholesale store. Anything I put in the bin will get sold the next day, or I can also sell stuff to him right away if I'm okay with him taking a bigger cut. Alright, that's good to know, but I won't be selling anything right away. I don't know what I should keep or not, so I would rather play it safe. A few minutes later, I find the general store where this bear guy is selling lottery tickets for 1,000 jelly each. I have 900 and I see that the jackpot is 1,000,000. Could you imagine getting that on my first day? Let's go back to Pastis. I sell him a few of my rice balls and I'm feeling lucky. But I was not lucky and now I only have 57 jelly left, so I won't gamble again until I can do it more responsibly. Next, I visit the restaurant where I meet Edward, the chef who's a descendant of dwarves. He has the mustache, but that's it. There's also this guy Dan who's saying my name backwards, Soj, but he quickly apologizes and explains that his memory faded a long time away along with his hair, and that's why he could not remember my name. Soj is probably a lot harder to remember than Josh, but like I said, we have a very fascinating cast of characters. Last stop for the day is the community service center where I meet this cat robot. I feel like I've seen it before or a very similar one in another game, I'm not too sure. And also Bruce, who asks me to collect 5 stone and 5 wood to build an aquarium, which I guess is going to be a very tiny aquarium. I go to bed, make 180 jelly with some apples that I sold, and I'm rewarded with a chest for making my first sale that I can use to store any extra items. I go check on my bees and realize that I did not give them any food, so they're not very happy. I did buy them food, but I didn't do anything with it for some reason, and just like the chickens, they need a proper trough to eat. My chickens, on the other hand, well, they're still chicks, but they're doing great, and as I care for them, I gained my very first skill point. There's a skill tree with a lot to choose from, and I put my first point in the lumberjack skill, letting me obtain up to 5 extra pieces of wood when chopping a tree with an axe. I don't have an axe yet, never chopped a tree, but I'm looking forward to it. I do a bit of foraging. I meet with this witch who's selling potions for things like faster walking speed or the ability to see hidden objects, but I can't afford any of it. On my way out, I noticed that she's growing Doritos in her garden, and I'm now craving Doritos. Okay, I need to focus on my work. I go to the forge and I meet Vulcan, the blacksmith. He asks me to get 10 copper ores and coal for him, and gives me this pickaxe to make the job easier. I will finally be able to mine, do this quest for him, and also collect the stone for the aquarium. If the blacksmith gives me a free pickaxe, the carpenter is going to give me a similar quest and a free axe, right? That is what I thought, but no. In fact, when I tell him that I want to chop wood, he tells me it will cost 900 jelly, and if I want to buy an axe, the blacksmith sells them for 500 jelly and 10 stones. I will deal with all of that later, but at least for now, I have a pickaxe. Ninano is very protective of its environment, so I can't break any of these rocks in the forest. Everything has to be done in their proper mine, the darkest mine. But first, I make a quick stop at the animal supply store and I get a trough for my bees so that they don't starve. Mining is simple, just left click to use the pickaxe. Rocks break in one hit, and on each floor, one of them is hiding the ladder to the next one. I quickly make it to the 5th floor where I meet with this little ghost, Doraji. He tells me that the elevator is broken and that in order for him to have enough energy to fix it, he will need 3 eggs and 1 fish. Eggs won't be a problem as soon as my chicks become adults, but I don't know how to fish yet. I can still keep going deeper into the mines. I make it to the 10th floor with a lot of stones and ores, but I am getting exhausted and so is my pickaxe that decides to break on me. Unfortunately, that pickaxe only lasted a single day. I go back up and back home to sleep. The following day, I go check on my bees. They had their food, but I realized I did not give them water. That is my bad, and I promise there are tutorials in the game. I'm just so used to bees being so low maintenance in most games that I did not really think they would be drinking water. But first, I go give the blacksmith the coal and copper he asked for. He gives me an oven and some money that I used to buy an axe from him. Remember how Woody asked for 900 jelly earlier to let me chop wood? The guy has complete control of the wood industry here, and I can't even chop a single tree, not a stump, not even a tiny old log in this whole forest. If I want wood, I not only need to provide my own axe, but I also need to pay him. I don't have money right now, and I can't even afford to give water to my bees. A water container costs 620 jelly. I only have 369. So I foraged some blueberries. That is one thing I am allowed to do in this forest. And I sell those along with anything left of the free food I received when I moved in order to get enough to buy the water container. Life is really hard here, especially in this first month. At least now my bees should be happy. I place my oven down, I make some copper bars, I buy another pickaxe. I am broke again, and I go mining until I run out of health on floor 8, and my character starts walking at a snail's pace. I can't afford to eat anything at this point, so I just go to bed. There is a hunger meter in this game, by the way. If it depletes, you pass out, but somehow it regenerates a bit when you sleep. They say we eat like 8 spiders a year when we sleep or something like that. I really don't think that's true if you keep your space clean, but maybe that number is accurate in Ninano. Look how beautifully my chickens have grown. I will now be getting 2 eggs per day from them, which means 200 jelly per day. I go out for a walk. The town is a bit empty right now, but things will get livelier as I keep playing and build the coffee shop, fortune teller place, and of course the aquarium whenever I have money for Woody to let me chop wood. The progression is definitely a bit slow, at least at the start and on the manageable difficulty setting. But I still find plenty of ways to occupy myself. Look at me here, I can show you a cool magic trick. I'm running under the trees. Besides that, I am making progress with my ranch as Kaya, the cutesy little animal store owner, introduces me to evolution shards, which transform animals into rare variants that provide more valuable products. To get me started, she gives me 3 chicken shards. 1 garnet, 1 amethyst, and 1 golden shard. I give 2 of them to my chickens who change color immediately and should start laying better eggs. After a few days of selling those eggs and saving my money, I finally have enough to go chop wood with Woody. It's this minigame where I have to press when the moving blue bar is at the right spot. If I get a perfect hit, I get more wood, and as long as I don't miss, I get combos and things start going faster, letting me get even more wood in a shorter amount of time. I can continue until my axe breaks, until 5 PM, or until I'm bored. I do it starting from 9 AM and I stop shortly before noon with over 300 pieces of wood divided between regular, soft, and hard. On top of that, I also get 99 branches, so it was an expensive experience, but I think I got my money's worth. I unlock my second skill point, I pick something that increases the value of my eggs by 10%, and now that I'm getting golden and amethyst eggs, those are worth 121 jelly each. I also have enough to buy a second beehive and to finally build the aquarium, so things are going well. Here is Aqua. Just like Woody, her purpose in life is determined by her name, so she's going to work at the aquarium. This is the aquarium and it's called the fried shrimp because it has the shape of a fried shrimp. I will be able to donate fish there to build up the collection, but most importantly, I am being given a fishing rod. I try fishing and I completely mess up my first attempt. The fish moves from left to right in this box and you need to hit the correct button when the fish goes over the icon. Doing so reduces the HP of the fish that you need to get to 0 before the timer runs out. The more difficult a fish is, the more different buttons there will be, so WASD, sometimes right click, but the easy ones are usually just left click and have less HP. The second fish I get is even harder than the first one, but after that I start catching a few easy ones. I will be able to make some money selling them, but I keep one for Doraji, who fixes the elevator in the mines for me. My progress from before still registered, so I can use it to go down to the 10th floor, but while the elevator is fixed, I still have not replaced my broken pickaxe. My fishing rod, on the other hand, is quite resilient, so I spent the rest of the day fishing. I make over 1,000 jelly in one day with a few fish, eggs, and some forageables. I can feel that I'm having some sort of breakthrough and things should be getting easier from here. Buying a new pickaxe or feed for my animals no longer feels like this big ordeal. I can stock up on things a bit more easily, and now that the elevator is working, mining is easier as well. The manageable difficulty setting is definitely becoming more manageable. I make another 1,000 jelly and today is our first foggy day. I don't know if it does anything special. I go out for my new favorite activity, fishing, but oops, I'm running out of worms. I did not realize that earlier, but every time you fish, it consumes 1 worm. Luckily, I completed some fishing related quests that let me claim 20 free worms as a reward, and I can keep doing what I like for the rest of the day. I also receive this piggy bank for earning a total of 10,000 jelly. The description says that having it at home feels like it will attract a lot of money. I don't know if it's true, but it doesn't hurt to try. But now I want to spend money, so I buy 2 new chicks, a lot of food for them, and instructions on how to craft honeybee shards so I can evolve my bees. Crafting shards requires sacred stone ores, which is super easy to get in the mines. So I transform one of my bee colonies into one that's going to make royal jelly. For the next couple of days, the routine is settling in. I make a bit of progress in the mines, I fish, I donate some of my fish to the aquarium. I'm not getting anything as a reward, at least for now, but it's okay, I'm feeling generous and things are going well. All of this hard work is paying off as I unlock this skill that fully replenishes my hunger when I sleep. We're probably up to like 16 spiders a year now, but that will allow me to do more every day. As much as I love the progress I'm making, getting lots of fish and various animal products every day also means that my inventory is getting full very quickly as I'm doing my morning chores. So one thing I'm always looking forward to is just putting everything in the shipping bin, but that bin is inside the store that opens at 11 AM. Yes, I could put things in my chest at home and go to the store later in the day, but then selling my stuff stays at the back of my mind all day long. It stresses me out, so anyway, it's a bit of a struggle until 11 AM every day when I'm just anxiously waiting to sell my things. I truly hope that eventually there will be a way to either change the store's schedule or to have the shipping bin outside. Another store that opens at 11 is the fishing store, and that's where I buy worms. So I get into the habit of stocking up on worms to make sure I don't get stuck unable to fish in the morning. Now, my next big goal is to unlock ducks. To do so, I need 7 of the 4 types of chicken eggs. I have all of the chickens I need already for that, so it's just a matter of keeping the eggs aside for a week and relying a bit more on fishing to make money. Bees will help as well, so I buy another beehive. After placing my new beehive, I decide to clean up my ranch a bit. Grass is growing everywhere, it is so messy, and I build an enclosure for cows that I am planning to get pretty soon. I have some leftover fences that I use to make another enclosure right next to the chickens, but I'm running out of HP to cut the grass that's in the way, so I leave it like that for now. Luckily, the next skill I unlock increases my max HP by 15 points, and after a few days I have saved up enough to buy a cow and everything it needs for food and water. By now though, taking care of my animals is starting to become more work, especially the water. Every day I have to go to the pond outside of my farm, fill up my bucket with water, empty it in the water containers. There is eventually a water tank that can automate that, but just like with most things right now, I can't afford it. On the 23rd of spring, it's time for our first festival, the Spring Fishing Competition. I wasn't sure what to expect and I did not prepare really well. My first fishing rod is on the verge of breaking, and as much as I was trying to regularly stock up on worms, I only have 9 left. To make things worse, there is nowhere to buy worms or another fishing rod during the event. The competition is taking place on the beach and I have 3 minutes to catch as many fish as I can with whatever I have left. So I give it my best and waste 30 seconds on the most difficult fish I ever encountered. The second one is tricky as well. I managed to catch it, but I have less than 2 minutes left. I now have only 1 fish and the person in the leading position already has 4. After that, I start getting a bit more lucky. I catch some easy ones, but by the time I get to 4, the timer runs out and the winner is at 9 fish. I don't think it's possible to win this in the first year, but I still get the 3rd position, 700 jelly, plus I get to keep all my 4 fish, so it was still worth it. It's now the 24th, so there shouldn't be too much time before the end of the month, right? I have a look at the calendar to see how many days are in a month. Is it 28? Is it 30? Every game is a little bit different, and I was not expecting that, but there are 35 days per month. Sure, why not? Alright, we still have time. I decide to finish the enclosure I started next to the chickens. There is a separation in the middle, but I open it up by accident and all of my chickens run out. There's not much I can do about it right away, but I wait for the animal store to open. It opens at 10, and I buy these cat paw gloves with which I can carry and throw animals. So I spend a good chunk of my day cutting all of the grass to retrieve my chickens. They're really hard to find, but I do find them and I throw them back into their pen. I rebuild the separation that was in the middle, but I totally forget about finishing up the other side of the enclosure. Since my routine has been derailed, let's do more new things. I visit the pharmacy for the first time, and there I can buy vaccines to prevent my animals from getting sick. That sounds very useful. I've not seen any game where you could vaccinate your animals, but they've been okay for 25 days, so I'm just gonna hope they're fine for the rest of the month. Right next to the pharmacy is a clothing store called Weekly, where their inventory changes weekly. I don't have enough money for any of it, but it is good to know that there are a lot more options than during their character creation. I also pay a visit to the butcher, and I think the only animals that can be butchered are pigs, so I have no use for this place at the moment. Pigs cost 5,000 jelly each. It is a bit much for me, but I buy another cow for 3,000, and I save the rest of my money to buy ducks, which I just unlocked and should be available for purchase tomorrow. I also decide to sell all of the hardwood and softwood I had collected, since I've not seen anything requiring them yet. It turns out you can make pretty good money by selling wood, and definitely make up the 900 jelly it costs to chop it. Now I have a quest asking me to reach level 50 of the darkest mine, so I get to work on that. I buy my very first copper pickaxe, which should last me a bit longer than the stone one. Don't get me wrong, it still gets damage, it's not ideal, but I make it to the 30th floor, where it's becoming harder and harder to see. It is called the darkest mine for a reason, and I do have torches that I could use, but I forget them at home every single time. It's now day 30, we are approaching the end, so let's see where we're at. I have the 4 types of honeybees, strawberry milk and banana milk cows, 1 duck, 4 chickens. Here is the aquarium, look at all of these cutesy little dolphins, and look how thrilled I am to be here. After my visit to the aquarium, I go a bit crazy and decide to sell almost everything I've been hoarding. Not only animal products, but ingots, stones. I want to see how much money I can make. I do a few trips back and forth from my house to the store, and at the end of the day, I make over 9,000 jelly, bringing my total to 11,000. That's when I remember the lottery tickets. The general store opens at 10, so I just gotta wait a little bit, I'm used to it, and I buy 9 tickets for 9,000 jelly. For sure, I'm gonna win something, right? If you get 2 of the same animals, you win the amount that is in the 3rd box of the ticket. First one, nothing. Second one, nothing. Third one, nothing. 4, 5, 6, still nothing, and right when I'm about to start regretting my decision, I see 2 goats on ticket number 7 and I win 10,000 jelly. So I made all of my money back plus 1,000. Let's do it again. Same thing, I win 10,000 jelly for a second time, and as they say, 3rd time's the charm. So maybe I can get even more if I do it again. And I do win another 10,000, meaning I made a total profit of 3,000 jelly. I feel like I'm pushing my luck though, so I stop. All of this extra money means it's now time to go shopping. Well, in 2 hours because the clothing store opens at 12. I get some overalls and a hoodie for 4,000, a closet so I can change at home for 5,200, and I look great, but I already burned through over half of my money. I use whatever is left to buy 3 ducks, and I mine for a bit, reaching floor 35 for the first time when my pickaxe breaks. I go check on my ducks, it is getting really crowded in there with 4 ducks and 4 chickens, so I decide to finally finish up that enclosure that I started a long time ago. One thing you should know in Ninano Dream Ranch is that to remove a fence or any piece of furniture, you either need an axe or a pickaxe. I don't have any of these at the moment, my pickaxe broke the day before and I got myself stuck in there. I can't do anything, so I just wait and wait, I run around for a bit, but there's nothing to do and I'm bored. I'm living the life of a ranch animal for a day. I finally pass out from starvation at 10:30 p.m. and I wake up 2 days later to this letter from Bruce. I don't know how he went over the fence, but he found and rescued me and used my money for the finest medicine. Despite the finest medicine, I'm not fully recovered, but the good thing in all of this is that it's 10 AM already, so I won't have to wait too long for the shops to open. Shortly after going out, I gain another skill point. There's a skill that lets you stay up until 2 AM without passing out. After my experience of last night, I'm certainly not picking that one. Instead, I go for a 12.5 chance of my stamina not depleting when mining. I'm ready to face that cursed enclosure again, and I break the separation in the middle to make it just one large pen for all of my egg-laying animals, and I evolved my ducks, so now I'll be getting 8 different types of eggs each day. These will be very useful for unlocking future animals and buildings requiring them, but they're going to take a lot of space in my bag. I'm feeling confident to tackle the darkest mine again. I go get myself a fresh copper pickaxe, grab my torches, go fishing and foraging for some food, and I'm ready. I start on floor 35, it's going well at first, but from floor 40 it's hard to see even with the torches, and once I get to 42, I become so unlucky I break almost all of the rocks, go through all of my snacks and all of my energy without finding the ladder. I failed at reaching the 50th floor in my first month. I don't think I could do it on day 35, but I still want to achieve something by the end of the video. I start this final day like any other by taking care of my animals. Collecting all of the products, talking and brushing the animals, making sure they have enough food, and going back and forth with a bucket for water is a lot of work. So I go to Woody's shop to see if I could get anything to make my life easier. The water tank is out of my budget still, but the animal feed storage is a lot more realistic. It requires 90 softwood and 90 hardwood. Unfortunately, I sold all of these earlier thinking I wouldn't need them. 50 branches, I should be okay for that. 20 pieces of coal, should be fine as well. 7 copper bars, I know I got ores in the mine yesterday, but I don't have any bars. and 3000 jelly. I have that. That doesn't seem impossible, let's do it. I run back home, get there at 10 a.m. and I put all of my 53 copper ores into the oven. I don't know if it will be enough or how long it will take, we'll see. I buy an axe from the blacksmith, I feel so lucky that it was open on that day, and I pay Woody so he can watch me chop wood. I do that until 1 p.m. and get all of the wooden branches that I need, plus a bit more. When I return home, there are 6 copper bars ready and the 7th one comes out a few minutes later. I think I have everything now, so I go see Woody, but of course, as always, I forgot something. It's the coal. I run back home, grab coal from the oven. While I'm there, I cut grass in the corner of my ranch so that there is space to place the structure. And now everything is ready for real and I return to Woody. Building is instant, so here's my animal feed storage. By interacting with it, all of the fruit troughs are connected, so I can just put all of the different food in there and all of my animals will be okay. It also unlocks the crafting recipe for feed makers, but I need silver, which I've not seen in the mines yet. I am making progress though, I'm happy, and I'm getting closer to my dream ranch. Let's see how much progress I made outside of my ranch. Social life, too similar to my real one. Quests, I finished a reasonable amount. I unlocked 6 out of 15 skills, discovered a bit less than half of the fish, and I find out that all this time, I could customize the case and screen color for my phone, so it's a bit late, but I go with this green and beige combination, it feels very ranch. This reminds me that I can change the name of my ranch at the Community Service Center, and I want to change from Maple to Maple Ranch. Unfortunately, Maple Ranch doesn't fit into the 10 character limits. I could only do Maple Rank, and also I can't even see what I'm typing. Whenever I try to cancel the name change, for some reason the blacksmith is popping up out of nowhere. I eventually do manage to close all of the menus, but I can't move or do anything, which is my sign to wrap up this first month and wake up from my Ninano Dream Ranch. The ending was a bit buggy there, but overall the game performed well. I had a good time unlocking the different animals, and it seems like I still have a lot left to do. If I were to start again, I think I would go for the fast difficulty setting, just because there were definitely some times when I felt like the progression was a bit too slow. If you have played Ninano Dream Ranch, I would love to know your thoughts on it, and if you have not played it yet, you can get it for 20% off during the Steam Autumn Sale. Thanks a lot to Ninano Dream Ranch for sponsoring this video, letting me check out their game with all of you, and for supporting the channel. Before leaving, if you could have a dream ranch in real life, what animal would you have? Personally, I would love to take care of penguins, but let me know about you. Leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.